Dale Matthews, Grants Pass. There's a reason for the open public meeting law. Now, Simon Hare has said that it's extremely frustrating to him that the gnats in the room keep bringing this up. It is state law, and it is something that all three commissioners have sworn to uphold. They often don't. Nobody's even looking at me. Oh, well, whatever. And so we recently caught the county commissioners once again breaking the law. For a couple of years since Simon Hare has been in office, he's questioned the wisdom of paying dues to SOREDI. SOREDI is a pretty controversial company in both Jackson County and Josephine County. And the question here has been, and I think he's right about this, how much good does paying $25,000 in dues to SOREDI actually do for Josephine County? And so going into the latest vote about whether or not to pay those dues, I thought, well, maybe this time we'll see a different way of doing things and perhaps not pay dues to SOREDI unless they actually start showing some real benefits to us that are obvious to everybody. Not just if you read through a very complex report, but people can say, oh, good for you. Cheryl Walker, the chair, has taken exactly the opposite point of view. She actually serves on the board of SOREDI and then is one of the people that decides whether or not their dues should be paid. Okay. I don't like that, but you make up your individual minds about that. So I was surprised recently when I heard that all three commissioners, that's a quorum, attended a SOREDI presentation that apparently convinced Simon Hare that it's a really wonderful organization and we should give them $25,000. Now wait a minute. One of the reasons why there's this law is that as the court of public opinion, we should be allowed to hear all of the same input that they have. And despite sometimes kicking up a fuss about this, the law is clear. We're supposed to have, if they're in a quorum, and they're talking about county business, we're supposed to have access to exactly the same information that they have. There's no doubt about this. Well, it was a social gathering. No, it wasn't. They were sitting in chairs facing a speaker. It wasn't, oh, let's all just eat, drink beer or, eat some vegetables or something. No, they were listening to a presentation that was enough to convince Simon Hare. That's county business. And it had a result. A very negative result, in my opinion, but they're breaking the law and we're catching them every week.
And to address Mr. Matthews' comments, Simon Hare, Josephine County Commissioner, the meeting that SOREDI held was not open to the public. Under Oregon Public Meeting Law, those things are considered, I guess, social events. I don't know. He didn't ask to attend. I didn't see him there. And if he would have been there, he would have noticed that I didn't sit down the whole time. I listened to the presentation. I thought it was really an eye-opener for me and others in the room as far as what SOREDI does for not just Josephine County, but Southern Oregon in general. What changed my opinion was my misconception, I think, of what I expected SOREDI to do over the last 3.5 years in office is different what I think their mission is, what they're actually accomplishing. And that deviation from expectation is what's led to my frustration with SOREDI over the last couple of years. Having reevaluated what I think their mission is, sure, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is fulfilling that last 10%, 20% of funding for new businesses, startups, refining the processes, representing Josephine and Jackson County on a national or statewide basis. And from that standpoint, $25,000 is justified. We spend $25,000 to $35,000 for the Small Business Development Center. We allocate $30,000 of economic development to our libraries. There's a number of different portfolios of economic development that need to be satisfied. And I believe SOREDI does that. I'm going to propose to the board this week or next week a plan to develop an economic development director position, much as the city is looking for a business advocate position. And I think that we have the adequate reserves and economic development to fund that. And but the element of what he was talking about with refining my position, That's neither here nor there. We haven't had the vote on that, and I would be happy to publicly disclose how I arrived at that decision and plan to do so when we have that vote and approve the SOREDI dues for 2014-15. So if he was just a little patient, maybe understood Oregon public meeting law a little bit better, his frustration would have been satisfied.
It was referenced last night at the city council meeting that I may have changed my position on SOREDI dues, and I think I probably have, to be perfectly honest. It was after the regional advocacy.
Was that just an aside comment? You changed it, or was this somebody negative or a positive?
It was a negative. It referenced to the fact that they weren't privy to my decision gathering information at a meeting, the annual meeting of SOREDI. Yeah. It's provided for, it's not a violation. And actually, it's just an expression of ignorance of those who would claim to know the Oregon public meeting law.
This is Dale Matthews. The expression of ignorance to which Simon Hare was just referring is, in fact, straight from Oregon public meeting law. Quote, for example, members of a commission may wish to have an informal, long-range planning session to help guide, in general terms, the future priorities of the commission. Because the discussion at such a session is likely to lay the foundation for subsequent decisions, it does not matter that the discussion is informal or that no decisions are made. It is still a meeting for the purposes of the public meetings law. The law requires that the public have access to any meeting of a quorum of a governing body when the governing body meets to gather information on which it will later deliberate. Note, Simon Hare did deliberate after gathering information during this illegal quorum.
I feel incredibly frustrated when we constantly hear from the GNATS in the room about things like open public meeting law.